I absolutely love to celebrate birthdays, and one way that I celebrate birthdays is by making cards for my family and friends. To do this, I use a machine called a Cricut. That's this machine right here. It can cut images out of paper, but it can also draw on paper. So I use it to write the words on the front of my birthday card, because sometimes my handwriting is not the neatest, and then that way the card still looks really pretty. First thing you have to do to use a Cricut is download a software. It's not a large software, so it will work with most computers. All you have to do is search up Cricut Design Space, click on the first link, click on the link that says download, and then it'll download the software to your computer. It doesn't take long to install, maybe like 5 minutes max, and then it's all set up and ready to go. When you log in, it'll be a blank grid, and then you can choose what images you want to put on the grid. Today I'm going to do a cupcake, and then I'm going to have it write the words happy birthday because I'm making a birthday card. But you can do almost any images. You can also find images off of the internet. You can use, Cricut itself has quite a few images in their library that you can use, but a cupcake seemed pretty easy, and so I thought that that would be the best thing to do. So next step is, after designing everything in the design space, putting all the images in that you want, you'll go up to the upper right hand corner and you'll click a button that says make it. And then it sorts your project into these mats. The first thing I'll do is I'll have it write out the message. So as you can see, it says happy birthday. So I'm just gonna move that happy birthday over so that it writes it on the part of the card that I want it to write it on. So I'll just do it right there. And then I will hit this button down in the bottom right hand corner that says continue. Then you have to connect your Cricut. So for this one, I just use an HDMI cable so it'll connect really easy. And then you have to turn this dial here at the top and turn it to the correct setting. Some of the settings are paper, vinyl, iron-on, cardstock, etc. So I always put it on cardstock. Now to write, you'll have to add an extra tool into the machine. I use Crayola markers because they're cheaper than the Cricut markers. You'll just take the lid off, you'll put it into clamp A, it'll click, you'll close the clamp. That's pretty much all you have to do. Then you'll take your mat, there'll be a flashing button on top, it's a double arrow button, you'll click that while pushing the mat in and it'll load the mat. And now the Cricut is ready to write on the card for you. And then at the top, a different button will be flashing. And that button is a C for Cricut. And you'll push that button and then it'll start writing for you on the card. Now, usually while it's writing on the card, I like to get the next thing that I'll be doing set up. So in this case, I would be putting paper on the next mat so that it can cut out the cupcake. I know that you might be like, well, when am I going to make a birthday card? But the Cricut can be used for many different things, and I'm just showing you two of the skills that you can use it for. You can also use, so this writing feature, you can use to write out the addresses on your graduation cards, or write out the addresses on your wedding invitations. It'll look more personalized because it won't be an address sticker that you put on the front, but it'll still look really neat and it'll save your hand a lot of writing. For the cutting out part, if you're an education major, comes in a lot of handy with making bulletin boards and lesson prepping for classes. But you can also use it for different class projects. I've used it for a few honors college class projects. It just makes your project stand out a little bit. So once it's finished writing or finished cutting, either way, it'll end the same. You'll push the unload button. It'll spit the mat out, and then you'll just unload the material. Now to save time, I'm not going to show you it cutting, but it's the same thing. You put the paper on, you push it through the machine, and then it'll go. Once it's all done cutting, you'll peel off the excess, and you're left with your little image. Again, to save time, I've already cut out all of the pieces of a cupcake. Just so you realize, it's going to cut out every single color of your image separately, because obviously it's not going to, you can't use a bunch of different colored papers and it somehow all magically becomes one. So all of this is glued together. I left this side unglued so you can see. So it cuts out each color individually and then you glue it together, which also in person, it makes it look a little more 3D, a little more professional. And then I just fold the card. I'll glue the cupcake to the front, and there you have it, a little birthday card. And again, like I said, the skills that you used using the Cricut to make this card, you can use to write out wedding invitations, to make class projects. So the Cricut's really useful in a lot of different ways.